Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show. Real talk, big opinions, and fearless conversations. From the front lines of politics to the latest in pop culture. From breaking sports headlines to the stories that move the world. Nothing's off limits, and nobody's holding back. Arrington Gavin is here to break it down, build it up, and keep it all the way real. So turn it up, lean in, and let's get into it. This is the Arrington Gavin Show.
What is happening, my friends? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, you know what we do here. We dive deep and we keep it real. Like the young folks say, we keep it 100. So kick back. Stay informed, please, Lord, please, y'all stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. Look, my friends, on today's conversation, we are continuing seeing a shift in mainstream media with the silencing of critics, those who work in media, those who are journalists work in media, that are critics of this silence. And what I mean by that is that they are either getting suspended for speaking on their personal posts, on their personal social medias, or just, again, criticizing the administration, which kills me because I'm like, I get it. Folks that work in the news, you majority of folks want to, when they watch news, they want to just get that exactly what's in the title, the news. They don't really want to get too much opinionated based news. They want to just get news. Normally, when you watch the news, you're getting a perspective from folks who are nonpartisan. Now, realistically, because we're not all dumb here, realistically, those individuals most likely they do align with a political affiliation, a political side, but within their job is to just report the news. So that's why, to me, it's never any shocker when we witness folks when they leave a cable news network and they go independent, they show their true colors, or they switch from spot to spot. Because look, we have folks. I'll use two individuals with two different political perspectives and affiliations. Tucker Carlson used to be a part of CNN. I believe he used to be a part of MSNBC as well. He became a star when he went to Fox News, and since then, the rest is history. Right? He's a successful guy, very conservative, leaning talker, a conspiracy theorist. I'll put him in the same boat as a Steve Bannon. Then another gentleman I'll name is Chris Cuomo. Chris Cuomo is a man who has worked almost on every single news network. Chris Wallace, another one, has worked on every single news network. These folks, those are folks who are, well, I'll say Chris Wallace is more of a journalist. And Chris Cuomo and Tucker Carlson are, but I'll just say Chris Cuomo is more independent leaning, and then Tucker is more right leaning. Chris Wallace is more moderate left leaning. All right, and there's I'm just using them for examples, but the reason why I bring this up is because Terry Moran, longtime ABC correspondent, recently was suspended for a post, again, criticizing the Trump administration and Trump as an individual. Then, moments after that was announced, they just cut ties. Now he is joining the independent circuit, joining Substack, which those are one of the platforms you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. By the way, let me go ahead and finish up this introduction. Y'all, I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Thank you so much for tuning into the Arrington Gavin Show. Those who are listening to us or watching us across the country on various platforms, do me a favor. For those who happen to be watching us on YouTube, please like, subscribe. I truly appreciate it if you do so. Also, you can stream us on other platforms like Rumble, as well as on the GOATverse TV network. All right, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show on the GOATverse TV network. You can download the app today. It's available in the App Store today and tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Is available in the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, as well as Amazon Fire. I mentioned earlier, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to continue to grow that. It is a growing channel with looking at our shorts. Our shorts are averaging almost 2,000 or between 1,000 and 2,000 views on a regular. So I truly appreciate those who tune into the show and support us, but please share with a friend. We want to continue to grow that. You can also listen to us on all major podcast platforms. You can listen to us on the radio airwaves, right? I want to shout out our listeners in the New Orleans area by way of WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 7 p.m. Central Time. Also, I want to acknowledge our listeners in the Metro Atlanta area by way of WDJY 99.1 FM Straight Talk. You can listen to the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are hopefully going to come to more stations, a station near you. So we want to continue to grow this this amazing platform, this amazing program. Also, my friends, if you would like to get in contact with me, you have questions, you want to send us some topics that you would love to listen here on the show, do me a favor. You can email me at info at theagshow.com. Again, info at theagshow.com. Please also do me a favor to follow us on our social media platforms, all under the same name, The Arrington Gavin Show, on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Substack. You can subscribe to our Substack page. I truly appreciate that. Also, what am I forgetting here? Also, check out our amazing website. By the way, check out our amazing website. Filled with it just gives you a little, story about the show, our mission, myself, as well as shows you it's just a lot of great stuff. Ways you can, again, get in touch with me. If you're, want to get familiar with the Arrington Gavin Show, you can listen to some of our upcoming episodes on there. The website is www.theagshow.com. Again, that is www.theagshow.com. All right, my friends, look, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Look, don't go anywhere. We got a lot more show for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Every man has a story to tell. Your ambitions, your achievements, your legacy. Your suit should reflect that story, crafted precisely, designed for impact, and tailored exclusively for you. We work with only the finest fabrics, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends from world-renowned mills in Italy, the UK, and India. These fabrics are the foundation of custom suits that exude elegance and stand the test of time. But a suit isn't just about fabric, it's about fit, and it's about confidence, and it all starts with you. When you work with me, you'll receive a personalized consultation, whether in person or over Zoom. Together, we'll explore your vision and discuss your needs, and we're going to bring your ideas to life. My journey as a designer includes apprenticing under New York-based designer Clavon Leonard, showcasing collections at New York Fashion Week, Algeria Fashion Week, and the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. That experience is what we bring to every suit we create, from weddings to corporate events and everything in between. We specialize in crafting one-of-a-kind suits for life's most significant moments. Dapper Luke has been recognized as one of Baltimore's best menswear in 2023, and I was honored to be one of the 10 designers selected for the prestigious Baltimore Met Gala. With over 900 satisfied clients, we proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore. bringing world-class designs to these incredible communities. We don't just make suits, we craft confidence. Your suit will fit your body, your style, and it will tell your story. Book your free online personal consultation today. Visit www.dapperluke.com.
Jazeera Learning Institute, LLC, is a hybrid learning center that strives to educate adults and children in all fields. During the day, we offer programs that are focused on developing students from pre-K to 12th grade, which includes tutoring, homeschool co-op, an after-school program, SAT, ACT prep, and many more engaging academic programs. Our adult education programs include workforce trainings, GED prep, life coaching, various seminars, and many more. Our vision is to train and educate in a positive way that will lead to a positive change in the world, one person at a time. For more information, visit us online at JazeeraLearningInstitute.com or call us at 757-208-7407.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
All right, my friends, welcome back. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin Show. Before we get going with some of our headlines we're going to be going over, I want to share you this story real quick if I can find that. There we go. I want to give you a quick Black Excellence report. This gentleman, there's a man by the name of Brandon Moss, who is making headlines for a leap, a risk, his bravery. And you're probably wondering, Arrington, what are you talking about? What is so interesting about Mr. Moss, Mr. Brandon Moss? Well, guess what? This gentleman happens to be running for mayor in his hometown of Fairfield, Alabama. But here's the interesting thing. This joker is doing this at the age of 18 years old. Let me go ahead and play you this clip real quick and we'll talk on the other side.
A recent high school graduate is taking an early step into politics. While many of his peers are enjoying summer break, Brandon Moss is donning a suit and tie, ready to take on the responsibilities of public office. The 18-year-old officially announced his candidacy for mayor of Fairfield, Alabama, which has about 10,000.
Do you hear that right there? Fairfield, Alabama happens to have around close to 10,000. So to be exact, this gentleman, it is around 9,500 residents. Okay, 9,500 residents. Recently graduate from Ramsey High School in Birmingham, Alabama. He's jumping straight into politics, fresh off receiving his diploma this past month. He said he's running for mayor of Fairfield, a city of about 9,500 residents that have been experiencing population decline. The election is set, obviously, in August 26th of this year. Mr. Moss is joining a competitive race alongside seasoned candidates like Councilman Herman Carnes and Cedric Norman, a former councilman, as well as James Reeser. Wait, I'm sorry. There's Cedric Norman, that's one individual, then another former councilman, James Reeser, a financial consultant, Michael Williams, and then also the current mayor, Eddie Penning, who actually said he's not seeking a re-election. Now, rather than taking the summer off before college, Moss is diving headfirst into campaigning. He says he's running because Fairfield needs fresh, innovative leadership that can bridge the gap between generations and bridge real change. Whoa, go ahead, boy. While planning to major in political science and public administration at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, Moss is also laying out a mayoral platform focused on economic development. He wants to attract businesses, hold property owners accountable, and engage with residents to understand their needs. A quote from him: he says, "We need long-term investments in our community, emphasizing on collaboration with businesses to revitalize the local economy." Let me tell you something. If an 18-year-old has that kind of drive, those ideas, what are we waiting for, people? We need to see more of that. Now, I'm not saying we need to see more 18-year-olds because this guy's is pursuing a degree in political science. So he still has a lot of growing to do. Could he possibly win? Probably not. But depending on how the residents feel about that candidate, it's up to them, right? They're going to be voting. Now, it is a competitive race. You got former council members, which here's the thing. He's coming as an outsider. He's coming as a young person. So one thing that 18-year-olds have in common is the power of social media, the power of ideas of what is going to attract folks to vote for him. He can build that new generation of kids that are getting involved in politics and having an understanding, having a knowledge of politics. I commend him. And again, the name is Brandon Moss. Brandon Moss running for Fairfield, Alabama. Actually, my goal, I'm gonna try and get in contact with him. Get him on the show, because I would love to, really dissect his platform and to see what he is going to do to really garner that seat. That's interesting, because I've had the same conversation with the gentleman Blazing Buckshot Bloom, who's running for Virginia State delegate. He's 21 years old, very young. He said on the show before, when he was fresh out of college, he ran for a city school board. There's a lot of young people that are hungry and that are willing to run. Now, the thing is, the majority might not take them seriously because of their age, but also there's a lot of elites that block them from pursuing running. Why? Because anybody that wants to run to take them out is a threat to them, right? You're running because you're trying to remove me from my seat. I'm not having it. So we already gonna kick them to the curb. And it's unfair. It's unfair, because to me, I feel like regardless of your age, anybody should be allowed to run. Now, obviously, they have an age limit. I do think there should be, certain, rules, like, 18 is a good young, 18, by then you have either graduated high school, you have at least a permit, learner's permit, a license, right? A job by then, or at least has done some line of work. I think that's perfect, requirements. Now, there should be some requirements on age max, as far as, okay, when it's, what I'm saying is term limits, because there is a lady, and I'll talk about this probably on another program, but she's running for her 19th term, and this lady's like in her 80s running for re-election. That needs to stop, in my opinion. But let me not get sidetracked here. As I mentioned earlier, there is a pattern happening in mainstream media where folks that are critics of Donald Trump are losing their jobs. Networks are caving in. Networks are scared, right? We've seen presidents step down. Presidents of networks step down. We've seen it at MSNBC. We've seen it at CBS. We've seen well-known voices and faces of the networks. All of a sudden, shows get canceled. They're fired. They're let go. Y'all got to go. Y'all got to get out of here. because networks are scared of lawsuits. They're scared of what Trump is capable of doing. We've seen uh, news networks pay some hefty fines and pay get sued by the Trump administration. It's just interesting. It's very interesting. But let me go ahead and read you guys this. ABC News has recently cut ties with Terry Moran after Trump hater post. Okay. Says here that Terry Moran was contract will not be renewed. Terry Moran is a veteran journalist with ABC after he authored a social media post sharply criticizing President Trump's and top White House aide Stephen Miller. I quote, says here, "We are at the end of our agreement with," no, I'm sorry. This is from ABC. We are at the end of our agreement with Terry Moran, and based on his recent post, which was a clear violation of ABC News policies, we have made the decision to not renew. A spokesperson from the network shared with The Hill. At ABC News, we told all of our reporters to the highest standards of objectivity, fairness, and professionalism, and we remain committed to delivering straightforward, trusted journalism. Now, let me go ahead and read you what Moran was suspended by the network over his recent social media post on X, in which he called Miller a world-class hater. Stephen Miller now, not Trump, but Stephen Miller, a world-class hater, and said, "You can see this just by looking at him, because you can see that his hatreds are his spiritual nourishment. He eats his hate." That's cold-blooded there, Terry. Now, I stand corrected. He didn't talk about Trump specifically. He talked about his administration. He talked about his aide. Stephen Miller is a interesting guy. That's all I can say. He is a person that is one of the most liked individuals on opposite day by many. Let me go ahead and read you a little more of this article by reported by NPR. They announced, as I mentioned, they let go of Terry. But here's the thing. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background about Terry Moran, he had been the foreign correspondent, chief White House correspondent, and anchor for nearly 30 decades at ABC News. 30 decades. I'm sorry, 3 decades. Lord have mercy. 3 decades, 30 years, but 3 decades. Y'all know I'm slow sometimes. I was actually responding to a text my wife was just texting me. So he was at ABC News forever. And you really think has there ever been a time where it's like, okay, this man does have seniority to give him a warning? No, they're just flat out not going to renew his contract. At one time, he was considered by executives as a potential evening news anchor in the mode of the late Peter Jennings. And before this post, he had sat down with Trump, earning acclaim from many of his peers for gently pressing the president over his false claims about a man deported by the administrations to El Salvador. Trump, irritated, told Moran in the middle of the exchange that he had never heard of you. I never heard of you. I never heard of Terry Moran. Who are you? Never heard of you. In 3 decades, I've never heard of you. Trump obviously responded, "You're not being very nice," which blows my mind. I can't stand when this guy said he is just the biggest crybaby that I've ever witnessed. Like, this man's almost 80 years old. You know what really just irks me? One thing that the president does is when he's like, they should be thanking me. They should be thanking me instead of doing, they should be thanking me. Like, if it's him that does all the work. I mean, just totally ignoring the fact that you do have a staff and administration. right? You just have a saying, you just have maybe the final saying, but no, just ignore them. It's like, you should be thanking me. Gavin Newsom, Mayor Karen Bass, they should be thanking me. You should be thanking me. Like, I mean, just ugh. Makes me want to puke. As I mentioned too, the hard part, and I promise you that leadership really did not want to let go of Terry Moran. But remember what I mentioned earlier, there has been news networks that have been caving in, that have been paying off these lawsuits against the Trump given by the Trump administrations. ABC News in December had agreed to pay $16 million to settle a lawsuit filed by Trump as a private citizen last fall over repeated assertions by anchor George Stephanopoulos that Trump had been found liable of a for a rape in a civil trial. Excuse me. In fact, Trump was found liable. I'm reporting this from NPR News now. Says here, in fact, Trump was found liable for sexual abuse in a civil trial in New York City. Now, it says here though, Disney agreed to pay $15 million to a foundation of Trump's eventual presidential library and $1 million for legal fees incurred by his lawyers. Now, again, ABC's like, we already had to pay the guy. We don't need any more bad news, Terry. I'm sorry, you just get up there. And they're looking at it like, hey, Terry, you put in your time, 30 years. You know what to do. Now, recently it's been announced that Terry has launched a Substack after his recent departure from ABC News. The veteran journalist Terry Moran, who abruptly left ABC News after calling President Trump in the top 8 world-class haters, announced that he's starting a Substack. It's saying here, for almost 28 years, I reported and anchored for ABC News, and as you may have heard, I'm not there anymore. He was breaking in silence. Recently, he said, I'm here with you on Substack, this amazing space, and I can't wait to get at it, to get at the important words that we all have to do in this time of such trouble for our country. I'm going to be reporting and interviewing and just sharing from you and hoping to hear from you all as well. I'm telling you, the growth at the moment of Substack, it reminds me of when Rumble first started, because Rumble really it started in competition with because of YouTube. There was a period where a lot of conservative talkers like a Dan Bongino, comedian Russell Brand, they would say some off the wall stuff, and you know what YouTube did? They suspended their accounts. Candace Owens, they suspended their accounts, basically kicked them off. And so somebody looked at that and said, you know what? I'm in agreement with them. You need a platform that is totally free speech. Elon Musk did that by purchasing Twitter, now calling it X. So then in comes Rumble. Rumble is the conservative alternative of YouTube. Now you're seeing the growth of, Rumble making big buku dollars over here. YouTube is still at the top tier, the mecca. But you're seeing a lot of left-leaning journalists going to YouTube, going to Substack, independent. Joy Reid started a YouTube show. Jim Acosta, Don Lemon, Katie Fang, Chris Cuomo. I mean, the list goes on. Well, Chris Cuomo was also with News Nation, but he has a platform on YouTube as well. But so many. Arrington Gavin. Hey, thank you. There's so many folks that are building platforms from on YouTube, and because hey, it's a great platform. It's a great platform. Let me before I digress from the story, I want to share the reaction from another fellow journalist who was kind of in uh the same boat as Terry Moran, Jim Acosta. As some of y'all might not remember, Jim Acosta was a well-known voice on CNN. He was a huge critic of Trump. Now CNN has since then been trying to brand themselves as more bipartisan, more neutral. And so Jim Acosta, his show, which I think was airing at 10 a.m., it was very popular on CNN. Uh it got they want to switch him to like 12 a.m. Eastern time, saying, hey, we're trying to revamp the platform and this and then the other, and I think you'll be good here. Which he obviously knew. He said, oh, you're demoting me because of what I am doing. And you know what he did? He said, bye-bye. I'm out of here. Started a Substack page. He's on YouTube now, and he's growing his show, The Jim Acosta Show. So this is what Jim Acosta had to say. Let me show you this.
As somebody who has been in Stephen Miller's crosshairs, as somebody who's gone toe-to-toe with Stephen Miller, I did it back in August of 2017 in the White House briefing room when he and I went round and round over the meaning of the Statue of Liberty, when he tried to whitewash the meaning of the Statue of Liberty with white supremacist talking points. That was when I learned what Stephen Miller was all about. They would swear up and down inside the White House that Stephen was not all about that. But he came after me with language that, as it turned out, was very incendiary. He was saying that I had a cosmopolitan bias. These are things that white supremacist websites were using to go after their targets back in the day. Kind of convenient there that Stephen Miller would use the same kind of language. Anyway, the fact that he went after me in that fashion, the fact that he has been Trump's main propagandist on the issue of immigration and demonizing immigrants ever since Trump started running for the White House, accusing migrants of being part of an invasion in this country and so on. I mean, that kind of language comes from somebody who hates, somebody who has hate in their heart. And I have to say, when I saw Terry Moran's tweet over the weekend, and again, I don't mean to insert myself into this situation, but people want to know what I think. I think Terry hit the nail on the head. I think Terry was stating things exactly right. And maybe he felt because he was working for a big news organization that he had to take that tweet down, or perhaps they told him to take it down. I don't know what the circumstances are. But what he was saying in that tweet was true. I believe Stephen Miller, based on my experience covering him, has hate in his heart.
Woo. I mean, hey, he gave his point of view on that. As I mentioned before, majority of folks will prefer to see or hear, journalists kind of, just not be too opinionated, but we see that that's what listeners, not what listeners, but obviously a good number of folks continue to tune in. I mean, look at Fox News numbers, right? I would say there's maybe only a few, maybe a small handful of accurate journalists. The rest of them, get out of here. Get out of here. Like that's just my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. Let me go ahead and digress from that story, y'all. Moving on to some more politics here. I don't know if you've heard, but the whole disconnect happening within the Democratic Party amongst the newly elected members of the DNC, Malcolm Kenyatta, David Hogg. It's been a back and forth, specifically for David Hogg, because David Hogg had first came out, swinging, saying, hey, look, I want to invest in Democratic challengers and not really the incumbents. Now, I've spoken with, I'm friends with a lot of elected officials, right? Local, state, federal level. I have the opportunity to interview them, build a relationship with them. They happen to respect my commentary. They happen to respect my uh the way I conversate with them. And so I say I'm bringing all this up because those that I've spoken with, they always said it's a respect thing when it's election season, primary season. uh there's a respect thing that you really do want to support your incumbents, right? You rarely want to be that person say, "Ooh, I'm immediately gonna endorse a newly like a challenger," right? Most of the time, they are always gonna endorse the incumbents. That's just something in politics, regardless of what side of the aisle. You're always gonna see your the current elected officials endorse incumbents. Now, as you may all know, the Democratic Party is rebuilding. They are rebuilding. David Hogg acknowledged that we have the right message, just not the right messengers. He says that he would love to see someone like a Jasmine Crockett. She'll be a great leader. He doesn't feel that way about Hakeem Jeffries, right? He doesn't like the fact, and he didn't you specifically say the age, but he just said, "Hey, look, we need some new leadership." I see that as hey, the dude's trying to grow. The dude said, "Hey, look, I got $20 million. I'm going to invest it in some of the challengers." I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea for those who were getting so irritated and frustrated, like a James Carville that felt so offended, saying, "Oh, you just need to leave. You just need to start. All the progressives needs to start their own party." What kind of mess is that? What kind of whiny mess is that? Now Malcolm Kenyatta at one point did not see, and I think it might still be the case, didn't see eye to eye with David Hogg. But at the end of the day, y'all, they have both been removed as vice chairs. Let me go read you this by Politico. It says here that David Hogg will not run again for his Democratic National Committee vice chair position. Amid the firestorm that the 25-year-old activist sparked over his pledge to take on ineffective Democratic incumbents. DC members removed Hogg and Pennsylvania State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta through a viral vote stemming from a procedural complaint unrelated to Hogg's primary activities. Now, to me, this is going to hurt. This, in my opinion, is going to hurt the Democratic Party. Now, I would love to have somebody that might think otherwise, might say, "Hey, look, I think this is the right thing to do." David Hogg, all he was doing was being a distraction. He wanted to be the center of attention, X, Y, and Z. Me personally, I think it was a good move because in order to really rebuild, you got to make some cuts. You gotta re-strategize. You have to have a plan. You can't go with the same old BS plan that they've been doing since God knows when. So I personally thought that David Hogg would have eventually came to an understanding, or would have folks would have, what am I trying to say? I was hoping that to see that officials would come to an understanding of what Hogg's mission is really trying to do, and it's not trying to offend them, but it is to the point of earning back the Democratic voters' trust, and to also win elections. Let's not continue to say, let's just continue to reelect. Yet, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, but the Democratic Party has lost. Like, I'm like, literally, there have been Democratic officials that has passed away. I think in Congress, I think there's been like 4 or 5. and not all because of old age. Some just because they were ill. But there's been some, in my opinion, that should not have even ran because they ran when they were um struggling with an illness. There's just it's just I respect folks that have been coming out as hey, I'm not seeking a reelection. I respect that. But there's so many that just want to stay in power and they don't want to give up that power position. In a statement, Hoggs said there is a fundamental disagreement about the role of a vice chair, and it's okay to have disagreements. Hogg continued, what isn't okay is allowing this to remain our focus when there is so much more we need to be focused on. Totally agree. Hogg said he would now focus his efforts on Leaders We Deserve, the group he co-founded, which said it would take on asleep at the wheel Democrats. I like that term. Asleep at the wheel Democrats by pledging to spend $20 million on safe seat Democrat primaries. Hogg's plan, announced in April, triggered a wave of anger from elected officials and DNC members. Now, I can understand the frustration in that case because he wanted to invest in safe seat Democratic primaries, safe seats. So if it's a safe seat, that means why make all the effort, right? Why spend the money on that? Why not go for the seats that you're really trying to? And I'm a 50-50 guy and I'm not a gambler, right? If I had $20 million and I am gonna and I see a guy that wants to run as a Democrat in the state of Kentucky or the state of Tennessee or any strong red state that has a resume of always voting red. Why spend the money if I know my chances is very, 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 very slim, right? That's a waste. So I can see him saying, well, look, let's focus on the ones we have a chance. Get some young people, hopefully, show an example of why it's so important to bring on these new voices. I mean, that's what I think. Because what you're starting to see now is that there are a small handful of Republicans that are not fond of this second Trump administration. They're not. Look at Kentucky. Is it Ron Paul? No, Rand Paul. He's not a fan. He actually had to share some words. Hopefully, if I have some time, I'll share it with you all. But he was not happy with or is not happy, excuse me, with the Trump administration and what's been happening. So yeah, we will continue to share a little more on that. But until then, I mean, hey, I think Hogg is going to be a powerful voice in the Democratic Party. I think a lot of young people are going to still flock to him. He's 25 years old. He's extremely intelligent. Now as for the newly elected chair, Ken Martin, who had clashed with Hogg, released a statement saying David, for years of activism, organizing and fighting for his generation. And while I continue to believe he is a powerful voice for this party, I respect his decision to step back from his post as vice chair. I have no doubt that he will remain an important advocate for the Democrats across the map. I appreciate his service as an officer, his hard work, and his dedication to the party. Now, the DNC will hold new elections for the two vice chair roles beginning in let's see. Um we should actually hear back very soon. And so there's three other candidates for DNC vice chair. Shasti Conrad, Caitlin Freed, and Jenna Rempus submitted candidate videos to compete for the second vacancy, according to one DNC member granted anonymity to describe private details. Um, as of right now, Hoggs Group has only endorsed a Virginia State delegate Irene Sheen in a special election for Virginia's 11th district to replace Democratic Representative Jerry Connolly, who recently died last month. So again, I just think that the DNC and just the Democratic Party as a whole, they can't. What's the word I'm looking for? They don't like change. They don't like change. They say that they want to bring more young people. They want to, but they do stuff, in my opinion, that runs them away. Like, let's be honest. The right has a large number of young voters. Now, majority of them are not black and brown, but they do pick up a lot of young voters. There's been a study that shown a lot of young men are leaning conservative and leaving the Democratic Party. Why is that? Why is that, DNC? Did you ever think about that? Now, obviously, like, this Trump administration and Trump himself, he always comes across as like, hey, I'm this ultimate macho guy, right? When he was running for president, he was promoting or playing ad campaigns during football games, during UFC. He attends every damn UFC pay-per-view fight, like, on a regular, which to me is it kills me, because one of my bros who voted for Trump, he a huge UFC guy. He's always getting the fights and say, hey, you want to come over watch fight? And from time to time I go over, and I just get it gets old, because you want to say, okay, this man can make the time to go to a UFC fight, enjoy himself while the country's hurting. But see, he loves events like that. Why? Because they yell out his name, Trump, Trump, Trump. You see all the red hats, Trump. He's like, you see, the fighters, after they win a fight, they go hand him the belt, put him around his waist. He loves that attention. He loves that kiss the ring mentality. He loves that. He loves all that. Feed me more, feed me more. He loves that. I'm telling you. He enjoys guys like a Kim Jong-un or like a Vladimir Putin. He likes guys like that. He surely does. But if you have any disagreement with him, it's over, right? You're fired, or he talks down about you, this and that and the other. I mean, that's what happens. Oh, you can't. How dare you talk about the fearless leader like that? How dare you? What? I disagreed on a positive. Well, you just don't know much. You should be thanking me and this and that. Like, let me stop. Well, look, y'all, we're gonna take another commercial break, my friends. Do not go anywhere. We have a lot more show for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Let me tell you something that most people get wrong about suits. A suit isn't just about you wearing it. It's how you show the world who you are. It's your handshake before you say a word, your presence when you step into any room. That's why we design statements at Dapper Luke. We don't just make suits. We'll start with the fabrics that tell your story, luxurious wools, silk, linen, and blends sourced from the finest mills in Italy, the UK, and India. Then we'll combine that with your vision, your personality, and your style. Every detail is tailored to you, from the fit to the finish. Whether for your wedding, a gala, the boardroom, we specialize in creating custom suits that are unique, just like the men who wear them. We spent years perfecting this craft, apprenticing under designers in New York and showcasing collections in New York and for Baltimore Fashion Week. None of that matters as much as seeing the look on your face when you try on your custom suit. Over 900 clients have already trusted us to deliver the best custom suits. They trust me to deliver the confidence, We proudly serve Virginia Beach and Baltimore and would be honored to bring your vision to life next. Let's create something unforgettable. Book your free consultation today at www.gapperluke.com.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to
And we still in traffic.
I don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, this that new Gold Verse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing GoatVerse TV.
GoatVerse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Welcome back, my friends, to the Arrington Gavin Show. Last up, I want to discuss with you all is, and I don't know if y'all had the chance to check out the recent BET Awards that was hosted by comedian Kevin Hart, comedian, entrepreneur, actor, the whole 9 yards. That guy with a lot of titles. He had hosted the 25th BET Awards, it was their 25th anniversary, but I think BET as a whole was celebrating like 45 years. It was by far, in my opinion, one of the best BET Awards in a long time, because I would say the last 5 or 6, in my opinion, was struggling big time. You hear me? Big time. It was, and why I say that is because, ever since there was new leadership in I think Ben Johnson, was it Ben Johnson? What was his name? Somebody Johnson, Bob Johnson, had stepped down as CEO. Then it went to Deborah Lee. Very talented person, but just it wasn't the same. It was not the same. And in my opinion, the BET Awards catered way too much to hip hop. Look, I love hip hop, but BET Awards is about black entertainment. There's so much that's involved in black entertainment. To me, they gave like 90% hip hop, not even a 1% for gospel, barely a percent for R&B. Like it was just, it was iffy, and it was really under the building stage. But anyway, this was the best one that they've had in a long time. They had a 106 in Park reunion, had a lot of their past hosts and most notable performances that were being played up there. They had let me go ahead and replay that. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. They had honored Snoop Dogg, Kirk Franklin, Mariah Carey. Who else? I think that was all. I think that was the few that I could recall. This one was very long, though, by the way, because I went to sleep. I couldn't even watch the whole thing, but it was dope. But one thing that went viral was Glorilla, right? Glorilla, hip hop star. I love Glorilla. I think she's dope. I think she's awesome. Very realistic, very honest, very upfront. She had won her first BET award. It happened to be a gospel award. She did a gospel song featuring Kirk Franklin. Now, other gospel artists was not happy about that. That one of those artists, Deitrick Haddon. Deitrick Haddon is a R&B, gospel star. Some can consider, an iconic voice within, he has a massive platform in the gospel community. He's a pastor. He was also a reality star. It was Preachers of LA or something like that. So let me go ahead and play this soundbite real quick, and we'll talk on the other side.
Gospel music industry needs an overhaul, period. After last night's show, it's an indicator that we just need a complete reset. Like what are we doing? Are we allowing this to happen over and over again and wonder why the gospel music industry is dying? Come on, man. In order to have something different, you have to do something different. So we need people in the room that know gospel music, that's in the trenches of gospel music, that's advocating for the genre as a whole and not one particular person. It's already a small genre. So it's hard for us to watch the Dr. Bobby Jones Gospel Award being given to somebody that's not in our space, right? No disrespect to the artist, but that's not the space she's in. And so it makes it discouraging, disappointing, and it takes the wind out of all of it. And the gospel music industry needs an.
So here's my
We wonder why gospel music is dying. It's because we're doing things like that. Well, on top of that is we're tired. Nobody will say this, but I will. Of seeing the same people being celebrated year after year. Like there is nobody else in gospel music. Like no one else is working. You cannot just give it to one person as if they're the ones that's keeping it going. No. We're done with that. Last night was a great win for the ratings for BET. I give certain people awards for ratings, but it was not a win for the gospel music industry. We got to do better. So I propose that let's start something where we can come together and have someone advocating for the genre that have no other motive and agenda in the room but to elevate the gospel music genre as a whole. That's what I feel.
So here's my thing. Let me go play this for you.
First of all, I want to thank God because this is the gospel award, huh? This is my first BET award, even though I've been here 3 years to get nominated 6 times. It's a blessing to get the gospel award first because I owe it all to God. Shout out to BET too. I love BET too. Shout out to Kirk Franklin. I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of scared to ask him for a feature on this song because y'all know how I be rapping. But I was like, oh my God, when he said yes, I was so excited. I had this song in the bar for so long. Shout out to Maverick City, Kiara Sherd. Don't mind my accent, don't laugh at me. And Chandler Moore, and shout out to God. And shout out to my mama a big, shout out to my mama, my dad, and my Uncle Johnny, Tammy. Shout out to Memphis, shout out to Y-Dub. I got my Y-Dub members over here. And yeah, shout out to God, I love y'all, let go.
All right, fam. Well, look, I'm looking at my time. I wish I could. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my response on 2 platforms. I'm going to share my my thoughts on my Substack. All right. So if you are on Substack, please subscribe now. The Arrington Gavin Show. I'm also going to share my thoughts on this. Give me my thoughts on the next show. All right. I'm gonna start it off in the opening the A block, all right, of the program. I want to congratulate Glorilla on winning her first BET award. I'm surprised it's just her first, which is insane. But that was a lot of stuff that Deitrick Haddon had said, who has been again an influential voice in gospel music. I will give you my thoughts on Mr. Haddon. Again, I'm gonna share it on Substack. I'll even toss a video on our social media. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it on the next show. Again, time goes by so fast. Peace and blessings, y'all. Y'all stay safe out there. I'll see you next time for another great episode of the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out.
That's it for tonight on the Arrington Gavin Show. Thanks for tapping in and keeping the conversation alive. Don't forget, stay connected with us on all platforms. Follow at Arrington Gavin on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, and subscribe to the official Substack for exclusive takes and deep dives you won't get anywhere else. We're here every weeknight, same time, same energy, same real talk. Until next time, stay bold, stay sharp, and stay true. That's what we do on the Arrington Gavin Show. Peace.